Hi guys, this is Vol. Thanks for watching another game of StarCraft 2. This game we're going to have a look at a game between Rock's WhiteRA against WhiteRA, also known as DuckloadRA is his ID for this particular match. And you guys may remember these two individuals from Brood War. Rock's WhiteRA is from Russia, and he was a successful Terran player for the Rock's team in Brood War. You may have seen him in the TSL and the TSL2 presented by Team Liquid. WhiteRA, of course, you guys will probably be even more familiar with, being the Ukrainian Protoss player. Very successful in Brood War. He did well in a number of different tournaments. I think you saw him in the WCG. You would have seen him play against various Korean players. You would have seen him in a lot of the different leagues and tournaments for Brood War, including the TSL. And now here they are in StarCraft 2, and I've been watching a little series between the two of them, which you guys may have seen on some of the main replay websites. I've been checking out websites from SC2Win and Gossa Gamers as normal. And there's been this little series between the two of them, this best of three, and this is the third game of that series. Now, they're both one apiece, and we've gone to game 3, and the games have been very exciting so far, but I want to show you this one because it's sort of like the climax of the matchup. Both players actually scouting in the wrong direction, as you may have seen. WhiteRA going up to the top and then swinging around the side. We are actually going sort of on either corner. Blue Protoss down the bottom right, red Terran down the bottom left, and just standard builds so far. We see a lot of Terran players really just skipping a lot of tech. Well, by that I mean taking up quite quickly and skipping some of the middle tech until they get Ravens. Ravens being quite cool against Stalkers especially because of that point defense drone. And Ravens very useful in the late game anyway. You can detect your opponent's observers, observers being a bit more of a popular choice for Protoss at the moment. But one of the reasons why you see all of that is because of the natural sort of counter system. Reapers being very good against all Protoss units except for possibly Stalkers, and then Stalkers being terrible against Marauders. So both players, you know, not wanting to get the wrong unit. But what you see here is that Terran player going for a bunker straight away, taking straight up to factory and then starport, and just defending his space with Marines, not even bothering with either Marines or Marauders or Reapers, because he knows that WhiteRA will have the right count in the middle, the early game. It's quite easy to do that, but with Ravens, he can do a number of things. He can get rid of observers, he can actually put turrets on the probe line, he can counter the inevitable Stalkers with a point defense drone, and then he's got tech freed up to do what he likes. He could build a couple of Banshees, he could build Medivacs for drops and so forth. Guys, I have been playing a lot of StarCraft 2 lately. I have been enjoying it. I've been critical of StarCraft 2 in some of my early videos, as we talked about before, but obviously I wouldn't be showing you the videos if I wasn't enjoying the game. And single player has been fun. I've gone through it both in hard and brutal now, just trying to round off some of the campaigns and enjoy that. I haven't really been playing much Lost Viking, but I have been playing a lot of 2-on-2 with my partner HardAway. That guy, you saw him in the previous video I posted, and we've been developing our Terran strategy, running into a couple of problems here and there, but generally it's been worked quite well. And Battle.net hasn't really been giving us sufficient opponents just yet. We're still working our way through up Gold League, expecting to be in Platinum League before long. We've broken the top 20, so every game we're going up. Both players looking to think about expanding here. There's destructible rocks in this natural expansion, which is protected on this particular map. Both players look like they're in a solid position. Brat's got his bunker up and running and is now adding barracks, and has got that Raven getting ready. There's the first observer out for WhiteRA. Gives them a good idea of what the Terran player is doing, and with such hard counters in this game, it's a really good idea to get a lot of intel going. This SCV moving into WhiteRA's natural and seeing what's going on here, he'll see that WhiteRA's about to put down an expansion, and Brat will probably want to do the same sort of thing. Just with name pronunciation, get told quite a lot by Russians and Ukrainians that it's Bratok, which is the correct pronunciation. A lot of casters just say WhiteRA. I'm sure it doesn't really matter too much, guys, so I'm just going to continue to refer to him as Brat or WhiteRA. It's not really going to make too much difference. Observer still keeping himself alive, even checking out the Terran base with that Raven on his tail, but gets a good idea of what the Terran player is doing at the moment. Mortal's now up for WhiteRA and Twilight Council, and the reason you're seeing a Twilight Council is because he's going to go for Templars, which I must say are really spectacular in PvT. Templars able to feedback medivac dropships to death instantly, well, not maybe instantly, but with a couple of feedbacks. Good counter to Ghosts as well, but of course, up against big Terran infantry blobs, just the way that pathing works now, Storms are probably more effective than they were in StarCraft 1. So Templars really the right unit to get against Terran in almost all situations, I would say. Point defense drone going down now, and as you can see, very quite effective. Man, really tongues in the middle today. That's the caster's main nightmare, just waking up and not being able to string a sentence of words together. But yeah, Stalkers out in the field aren't able to do anything at their points defense drone. Just shoots all of the little missiles down. Always wondered about that. Stalkers don't really have a projectile as such. They seem to shoot like a laser beam, which the point defense drone somehow knocks out of the air with its own laser beam. Not quite sure how that works, but I'm sure there's a scientific explanation for it somewhere. This is a very scientific game. Destructible debris going down now, so Brat finally able to put his expansion down. He is behind on economy, I would say, against WhiteRA, but not by too much. He's been doing okay with all of his mules. What we're going to be waiting for here is for more expansion to be put down. We're not going to see a stalemate for too long. After both players get the tech that they want, we'll see a lot of harassment and so forth. And already got a couple of Vikings near. Those are going to be very useful just in case any Colossus show up, but also quite useful at landing on that little platform above the natural expansion. What have we got here? That very thing happening right now, a bit of a drop going down on that expansion. It's much like Brood War Lost Temple. In fact, that still exists in the current Lost Temple, but bam! Straight down on the probes. Really scaring those probes away, and this is an opportunity for Brat to even up the economy a little bit while he gets his own expansion up and running. Got the Vikings coming in just to shoot down any observers that might come along and give vision to Stalkers wanting to get rid of that tank. Not that Stalkers really be able to get up there, but if Blink's upgraded with it, which it looks like it is, just checking the Twilight Council out, he should be able to jump up there and eliminate this threat. There we go, Blink going down, and he's going to need to focus that tank before it takes too much damage. Vikings probably going to be clearing out. Not really worth landing at this point, but oh man, that was a bit of fun. And takes the Raven out as well, so a little bit slow there by Brad, I feel. Raven quite an expensive unit gas-wise, so good to keep it alive and charge up the energy, even just to bring it back and put a few turrets down next to that probe line. But yeah, that was entertaining, a little drop. I think we'll see some more of those coming a bit later. Nexus going down at the 1 o'clock position, I should say. Missile turret defending Brat's expansion. I think that you'll probably see some retaliation drops by WhiteRA before too long. Siege up now. It's about time we got some tanks, and that'll allow him to put an expansion down there at his second natural, and really keep up with that economy game. Both players content really just to sit back, not really waste units harassing or attacking at this point. Both these bases very easy to defend with the ramps situated the way they are, but harassment obviously always a problem with the way that natural base layout is at the moment. Yeah, pretty steady game so far. Nexus halfway done. Probe coming in now to set the entire base up. It's quite good for Protoss to expand a fair way away, because they can easily reinforce their expansions due to the warp gate ability. Just warping in units right next to it, and Brat putting his third base down as well, just ready to float it over the edge, taking advantage of that. It's a cautious expand, and that's what you really want to do against a big marauding group of Protoss out in the field. Not that he has much at the moment. WhiteRA really just taking up and waiting for the income to kick in, I guess, before he really adds too much to his force. He's got some Templars coming in now, and not too much for extremely high tech, but he doesn't really need much other than Templars. Going Warp Rays at this point is not really a good idea, or carriers. He really just needs to hold out for Templars. That is all he needs. He can turn them into Archons later on if he wants to. And check this out. Brat preempting this little harassment attempt here above his natural with the help of those medivacs. Quite enjoyed that. The Stalker's really quite effective with Blink. It doesn't take them much effort to get into that expansion, but that's why you stick around with those medivacs. Probably almost worth keeping a tank or two up on that ridge. I'm not too sure. Tanks are fairly precious though, so you can't really afford to spread them out too much, although it is worth spreading them out somewhat. Third base going in now for Brat. I think he can safely push out of his natural and set up some tanks out in the open ground at this point. Most of WhiteRA's units are at his base, and I think Brat will see units coming before long if he keeps his Raven or a scouting unit further out. I don't really know why players don't scout that much with SCVs in StarCraft 2. You saw that a lot in Brood War with like a lone SCV just traveling around the map, seeing what's going on. Even just to launch the ability of that Xel'Naga watchtower. Oh, drop coming in down at the 5 o'clock position, and it's Helion's time, spraying liquid fire into the probe line and quickly pulling back out again. I quite like that, and Protoss Force is too slow to intercept. Now moving to a different location. This is going to keep WhiteRA on his toes, dropping off a couple of Helions. Oh, picking them back up again, change his mind. Just the one maybe. Oh, he's deciding to split his forces here, setting a couple of them out here to divert the army, not doing too good a job, bit of a micro misstep there, and having another crack at this probe line. Also, we've got a Warp Prism with some High Templars in it. That looks very ominous. I'm sure Brat will have spotted that, but does he know that there are High Templars in there? Surely he's going to defend against us. If I were him, if I'd seen that, I'd probably put up a missile turret or two just next to the mineral line, but I'm not sure if it's going to be in time. Warp Prism moving over now, keeping it there, and looks like a fight's about ready to break out in the middle of the map. I think what WhiteRA's going to do here is just going to wait for the fight to really break up before he sends the Warp Prism in. But this looks bad for those Stalkers. They cannot deal with that many Marines. We've got a lot of Ghosts supporting at this point. And here it comes. Warp